Welcome to the Kaizoran experience. Over here, we're going to be talking about everything African. We're going to be having debates, discussions, entertainment, as well as learning about business, art, history, and everything in between. Cultural, tribalism, and everything. We're going to be out here debating with some really interesting stuff. So like the video, share the video, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe for the best experience ever. This is the biggest channel on the Afrosphere. So come and join the team, become a Kaizoran, and join the Kaizoran Empire.
Universally exist within myself, within this premise, and I exist within this bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like the blue in the sky. I'ma fly like bird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma throw my bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fight like bluebird in the sky. I'ma eat like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Back again like the second coming. Strumming my vocal cords like the hummingbird in the sky. Y'all can't deny this. Real rap lyrics, it's like I ain't got no rhyming through the sky limit. What is skin tone, shade of color, but a parallel form of frequency like a ringtone on your phone. Melanin expression, tied up in the universe, feeling like God's. Is this really us? Is it serious? Is it really wrong to be diverse? I'm a divergent, immerse myself like an ocean beneath this waves. Be a divergent, born to be different. Indigo child, wild like canary, born to be a bluebird in the sky. Flying high like a bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly high, bluebird in the sky. Yeah, bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly high, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Everybody scream bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly high, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Yeah, bluebird in the sky. Everybody, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bone black, sweet like a berry. Flying high like a canary. Scary with my hoodie on. Hating on my vibe on the street that you'll be feeling my frequency of the song. But I know that I ain't never ever gonna be ever the same. But I know.
What's good, guys? Hopefully, what's good, Audrey over there, first on the chat. Also, we had Kidola and one man went to Mo. So, yeah, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, let's get to it. Austin Holman is hilarious. But let's go ahead. So, Passport Bros, why I had to leave Africa for Asia and now Europe, right? He's now in Europe. He's out there in Romania and those kinds of countries. They beg too much and have bad hair. So anyway, let's go ahead. He believes that African women have bad hair, right? So they don't have that nice, silky, straight hair on average, right? So he prefers the Asiatics for that. But let's go ahead. Let's see what he says about Africa.
I was just sitting here thinking, it does feel good to take a break from Africa for a bit. I love the food.
As you can see, he's sitting there in, I believe this is Thailand, right? So he's in Thailand. He said from the beginning, it does feel good to take a break from Africa. So the brother is out here sitting in Thailand in this situation. Right now he's in Europe, right? And he's just said, look, I've had enough of Africa, right? After all these times, that's what I'm saying. These passport bros come to, use our women. Once they realize our women are not whores like other women in other parts of the world to the same extent, they get angry and they leave, of course, right? The same brother went in and said that, Tanzanian women are too hard, oh, they don't play ball. Yeah, because they have respect for themselves, right? You're not going to go and expect to treat a Tanzanian woman the same way that you treat women from Thailand or Philippines or one of these countries. They got respect for themselves, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and let's analyze what he says about his reasons.
So you guys know that I was just sitting here thinking, it does feel good to take a break from Africa for a bit. I love the food, love the weather, the people. But all that begging, man, everywhere you go, somebody trying to scam you.
So Passport Bro didn't like the begging, right? He says that Africans beg way too much. Someone's trying to scam you, even if you just walk a mile. Someone is out there to get you, and he couldn't handle this, right? That's the reality. Now, of course, he's going to come back to Africa because he can't get women like that in Poland, in Romania, and all these countries. And the Asian women, they don't even speak English. So you see, these passport bros have been lying to themselves, right? First, they started saying bad things about Black American women. Oh, they're not good. They ain't shit. Then they realized that actually the Asiatic ones, they don't speak English. In Brazil, they don't really speak English. They look good, but they can't even communicate. One person sits down looking pretty. The other one just is out there, making really awkward gestures. At least in Kenya, in Rwanda, they speak English, right? So, anyways, let's go ahead.
Women ain't got no money. Every now and then they trying to hit you with a okie doke and try to get.
Okay, yeah. So African women generally don't have money, and yes, they will hit you with the okie doke. Somehow they'll just one day feel like asking you for $100, $200 or something, which you hadn't even planned for. I get that.
$60 here, $60 there. I mean, after a while, man, man, you can. Africa is not as cheap as it seems. Once you start living there, you start actually seeing it's really not that cheap. Good evening, everybody. It's Austin Holloman, your favorite.
Yeah, the idea that Africa is cheap, I don't know where that idea came from, right? Like, people in the chat, do you think Africa is cheap? Look, let me make it clear. Africa is only cheap when it comes to services, right? Human labor is cheaper in Africa, but when it comes to materials, bro, it's way more expensive. Try buying electronics, whether Chinese or German, it doesn't matter. It's expensive because of the import fees. Africa ain't cheap. Africa is expensive. What's cheap in Africa is services, human labor. Shout out to today's sponsor. One man went to Mo with £2. Ban black men who wear pink shirts too. Oh yeah, I added a 2 at the end, right? ban black men who wear pink shirts too. 100%. Definitely got that Will Smith vibe going on over there. Actually, brother looks like Will Smith. Probably is a Will Smith kind of guy. Who knows? America, FBA Nigel says, Austin go to Europe for a hamburger and a pancake and sugar straws. Where he go in Africa? The real reason he left is that flying around Africa is expensive. Yeah, I think Flexed Up, you're making a really good point. Yeah, it is expensive, but he needs to learn how to use buses in Africa. You can get cheap traveling around Africa if you know how the bus system works.
YouTuber. If I'm not your favorite YouTuber already, I'm about to be today. So make sure you get a video like and make sure you subscribe. So Nairobi, Kenya, he made me these sandals right here that are ultra comfortable. And I'm gonna let you know right now. These sandals are so good they could last through the Vietnam War if I wanted to. Yes, I can go to war in these sandals if I wanted to. Austin Holloman. All you gotta do is reach out to the Instagram. With fake diamonds, I instantly look at it like, yeah, I can tell. It makes it easier to notice versus when it's just like, just silver and just simple. All right, you guys, it's day number 2, and we're looking for some islands to go vacation on while I'm here and while we're. Just had to get the lady to take a picture of us before we go into this Rocky Rooster restaurant.
No offense, I've never got I've never understood why these passport bros like what they like, right? Let's be realistic here, right? These passport bros would go and date a woman who barely speaks the same language as them. I don't get it, right? I just don't get it. I couldn't do it, right? I could not stand a human being right next to me. I was supposed to be intimate. We can't understand basic things about each other.
All right, so we just found. Look, you trying to avoid it. We just found the. Telling her about why I'm never gonna tell y'all her name. Why I'm never. Next clip, you'll see us eating naan bread, and then I got prawns, lamb, and chicken tikka masala. She got butter chicken. I guess it's masala too. And we got garlic rice. Was fried rice or something like that. It don't look like. Would you listen to those bugs? In the 2 islands break from Africa for a bit. I love the food, love the weather, the people.
Yeah, Audrey, I get that, but trust me, I'm not interested. Like, it'll just be weird and awkward. I just don't get it. It's like, even if it's for other reasons, like moving a human being around with you and you can't communicate, it just be awkward as hell.
Guys, my last 24 hours, full 24 hours in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm so, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I fell in love. And I'm so sad now that I only booked for 10 days. And then we going to Kenya for a day. And then we gonna go off to Europe. So I guess it'll be some sort of excitement, you know, to take my mind off the fact that I have to leave. What's her name? Because you'll never know her name. That I have to leave her. But today is actually her birthday. It's her birthday today, so we're at this Argentina. Look, so y'all said she was uninterested in me. She just don't like being on camera. That's good. But we're at this Argentina restaurant right now, and I ordered a New York. So for 8 years, you won't have a life because we gonna knock it all out at one time. That way, all the kids could be the same age or about the same age, because you know, I don't want to raise a toddler and then they have to deal with that shit again later on. I want to deal with it all at once, and I think you'd be the perfect mother, right? She better say yes. Look, I told her she better say yeah, because who would say, oh, I'm not gonna be the perfect mother? Who would say that? I don't know, alright, guys. I've been talking to her since April. I got a gist of who she is. So for all you know-it-alls in the comments, you don't know more than I do. And you know,
Bro, you don't even speak the same language as her. I just don't get these people, man. How are you gonna be out there with another human being, sitting down with them, some awkward ass conversations? You can't even understand each other. Look, the basic lack of communication part, I just don't get it. Right? That's already creepy enough for me. No offense, I don't judge, but to me, this is weird, man.
some people like to make up some fake propaganda about what's going on the Austin Holloman show here. She's not from Bangkok. She don't even live here. So all that bullshit y'all writing in the comments about, oh, I know her. No, don't try it. Don't try it. Your propaganda and lies fail every time. If you guys knew what was off camera happening, you'd be shocked. But I deal with it. And I deal with it because I just want to look at this beautiful hair she got right here.
See, I told you, right? The title of the stream is Passport Bros. Why I had to leave for Africa for Asia. They beg too much in Africa. And out here, he's already touching the nice, good hair on the Asian girl, right? He don't want no dusty ass Jared 4C hair on the African. He wants to see a nice, soft, straight hair on this Asiatic, beautiful sister over there, right? With aquiline features. That's what he really wants. I told you, right? The brother left because, hey, Africans apparently beg too much, and Asians have good hair. Let me play that again, right? He's gonna start playing with her hair, start complimenting how much he loves her hair.
But I deal with it, and I deal with it because I just want to look at this beautiful hair she got right here. Don't you just love that hair? Did you love that? I love it. I wish I could have hair like this. You made me want.
You see that? You say that, right? You niggas thought I was joking, right? Exaggerate, or Kaiser's just exaggerating, like clickbait. No. He literally said it, right? I love her hair. Can you touch it? Can you touch it? Right? Can you touch it? I wish I had hair like that. Bro, this nigga's out here talking about how he hates 4C hair and he had to leave Africa because he just couldn't stand it, right? Let me play that, part again.
To grow my hair out. He does this thing where I'll say, don't you just love that she got right here? I deal with it, and I deal with it because I just want to look at this beautiful hair she got right here. Don't you just love that hair? Did you love that? I love it. I wish I could have hair like this.
Anyway, so what's good, guys? The lines are open, so if you guys want to call through, just hit the link. What's good, James?
This is a self-hating nigga, man. This is cringy as fuck, bro. This. I know people like this. It's like they hate themselves so much, but then they just gotta say like, oh, they love us over there. Yeah, they love black men. They love this. They love that. It's like, bro, like you just a fetish for them. If they like you, it's a fucking fetish. How you gonna connect with somebody that don't even speak the same language as you? he's sitting there talking about babies and all this other shit, even though he gonna leave in a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And like he talking about like, oh well, we gonna have babies and all this other. What the fuck is you? She don't even understand you, man. Like, what is
Yeah,
this? Is this for fucking views? Like, this is like some cringy ass shit.
yeah,
It's
but
really
James,
disturbing. I don't see white
he's,
men do this. White men just do it and they just discreet about it. But niggas got to put this all up on the internet. They is fucking embarrassments, bro. Like if you like I'm with a, like I told you, I'm with a white woman, bro. I keep man. I
Mhm.
don't sit there and just exclaim that all over the place. I'm not disrespecting no black woman. Shit is crazy. Like these niggas really do this. I don't know if they get off on it, but it seems like it's like a hatred of black women. Like they go out there and they literally just do this despite black women. It don't make no
Mhm,
sense.
exactly. Nah, but James, like that's a situation with these brothers, man. I've noticed, as you mentioned, right? When you see white passport, bro, they just go around. Hey, they live their best life. They go. That's it. These ones always have to add in some weird cringe shit going on.
Yeah.
Like start talking about her hair, wishing he had it. Like, what the hell is going on here, man?
Hey man, like I tell you, man, like if niggas really want to make money, yo man, just start selling bleach, skin bleach. Niggas will do it.
Right.
Yo, I'm tell you something. If a nigga found out how to make C4 hair, if our hair and turn it, cause I got really tightly coiled hair. I mean, it grows
Mhm,
long, but it ain't it ain't wavy, ain't nothing, it's nigga hair, right? So
mhm.
when what do you call it? If someone was able to come up with a way to make that permanently straight, be the richest nigga in the world.
Man, that's
The rich,
crazy.
the
That's
richest,
crazy, man.
because we hate ourselves that much.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I think, right, because if you look at this whole situation, African girls, let's say at least in Kenya, they look good. Now, I think he just doesn't want that, 4C hair texture. In his kids, he doesn't want to be touching a woman with it. I think he just likes that straight shit, and he won't be straightforward with it, right? He's like talking about begging, bro. You're there for women, right? Even I don't get begged up anymore, right? I live here full time. I swear to you, no one begs me money anymore, right? So there's something else going on. I think he wanted a quick shift into the Asiatic and white market, and he just won't be honest with himself and just say, hey, listen, I'm tired of seeing African women. I just want to see white and Asian women, and he should just say that. Stop trying
Right?
to
And
make
you
it about
shouldn't
something
even say
else.
that. You should just do it and just you know
True,
just
true,
be
true.
smart
Exactly.
about
Oh
it.
yeah, exactly. You didn't need to make a video or why I'm leaving Africa, bro. Just go. Hey, I'm going next to this country. You don't have to start talking negative and stuff, right? 100%, 100%. Kidola, what's your thoughts so far on the conversation? I don't know how much you've heard.
Yeah, I hear you talking about this passport, bro.
Yes, we're talking about passport, bros. Yeah.
Look. Let me just tell you the truth, huh? The more you see, I don't understand if this internet bros, but it seems like these guys that from America, they have low self-esteem. You know, how can you think with your money or you think it's good looking, you can just come and oppress African women, eh? They'll just pick him up. He will just be like the old, all that. You know what I mean? So when he's there, what um, he's kind of what he have in his mind, it did come out as what he seems. Yeah, the African women are not cheap, so you not get peace. No, you can go to Asia, Thailand. You can drop some money. These women can run after you. You know what I mean? But in Africa, due to our religion, culture is different. You know what I mean? So this is what you see with these people who want to claim that they are the superior black, but their self-esteem is very low. If an African want to operate on that level, he will operate pretty fine on that level with confidence, self-esteem, but not as passport bro, as somebody that's really, really serious. Cannot be bringing that camera, videoing girls. It's all game. Which really girl will allow you to video her when you're talking your nonsense. You understand me? This is not a strip club. You're not dealing with hoes in the street of LA or Detroit. You know what I mean? This really, you know, their way of life is different. And the more you see, the more you continue to understand, oh man, This is all fucked up, man. One hand they pretend, one hand they're very fake. Look at Tanzania today. They all complain about Tanzania. Oh, Tanzania is the but who sent you there? Did anybody force you to go to Tanzania? They will always complain. They will always complain. They will always complain. If they come to, oh, I'm going to Tanzania. I like Tanzania. Now, how many 1 year in Tanzania? Tanzania is bad. Kenya will still sing the same. They will still sing the same music about Kenya also. Nobody invite you to come to all these countries. You invite yourself. What you see, what you got. If they say if you do anyhow, you get anyhow. You know what I mean? So you have to understand life is not just doing what you see in America. The way you complain in America, you have to bring it to Africa to be complaining. Oh, the women are beggars. Who is begging you for money? You come with money, you want to flash it. But bring your camera out, they ask them to see that. Look, in Brazil, they can easily do these things. In Brazil. Because these Brazilian women, they can bribe them, pay, but African women are different. Bring somebody camera, try to pretend it's a game. Take her out to dinner, try to pretend fine boy there, and all this kind of nonsense there. It's not going to help. How much money do you have? YouTube money? Okay, good. You have more money for yourself. But it seems like they are far more worse than the white men. You understand? That's why I said not everybody that is black, you can say I'm your brother. Africans should understand these black Americans are not close to them anymore. Forget about the skin color. Their mentality is piece of shit. One hand they pretend, one hand they pretend they like you. Look, the white people are far more transparent than them. Then they will try to blackmail you. But say, it's a shit place. The roads are not good. They have to improve on this. Improve on your hood. Go and improve your hood first. You're coming from an area. Let Africa be Africa. Africans are the one developing Africa, not you that is in America. Africa does not wait for your penny. You know what I mean? Your penny, not. Look at if you come to my neighborhood, in my village, young boys build mansions there. They're not waiting for black Americans. 6-bedroom mansions, huge houses. House you can find in Spain, big ones. They're building within 5 years, developing everywhere. They'll just come with their small dollars and come and be making noise. Say, oh, it's a young man who want to enjoy life. Enjoy life. Look for your own black American guests in America. If you cannot, go to the white women. No problem. If you cannot, go to Spanish. You have too many colors there you can choose for. We're moving everywhere like a bird. Try to show fine boy. Underground. And one thing, majority of them, they're also gays. Undercover gays. Down low, under the, what they call it, down low. All of them, majority of them are gays. If you know you're not gay, if you're black American,
Wait,
come to
Kidola, did you see my video? Did you see my video on Will Smith? He's been, according to his best friend, Will Smith is gay. He lets Martin do him.
They're all undercover gays. Not they pretend. They're all undercover gays. They're all download guys. You see them like this? They're all banging ass. You know what I mean? Don't believe these semi gay boys, we call lady boys, that is flashing around with dark skin color, calling themselves a black man. Somebody come in.
Okay, shout out to you, Kidola. Zulia, what's your thoughts so far on the conversation, man? What's going on? How come this passport, bro? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Sorry. How come these passport bros?
Yeah, so this guy over here, Austin Holloman, came to Africa, and he could have just been like, "Oh, I'm moving on to Europe to travel a little bit. I'll come back when the time is right." He starts talking about why I had to leave Africa, start talking negative stuff about Africa. Now, saying they beg too much. Fair enough. So some people do beg here a lot, but why start saying that? And again, he's going to come back later on because he's going to realize he's not going to feel safe in these European countries. Right now, he's already planning to come back to Kenya because he's just not making it. He's not pulling any women in Romania or Poland, etc. At least not once he's not paying. So he's going to have to come back to Kenya anyways. But before that, he had to talk shit. Then start talking about this woman's hair. As you can see, he has a hair fetish. Let me play that video again for those who
love that. I want to look at this beautiful hair she got. I deal with it. And I deal with it because I just want to look at this beautiful hair she got right here. Don't you just love that hair? Did you love that? I love it. I wish I could have hair like this.
She seemed uncomfortable.
Yeah, she looks uncomfortable. She barely speaks English, right? She speaks edited video English, right? Meaning she doesn't really speak it.
Right.
But yeah, what's going on, Zillion, man? What's up with your ADOS brothers, man? What's wrong
I
with
don't
you
know,
guys,
man. It
Zillion?
is something wrong.
Well, listen, all I can say is this is my theory. My theory is if you live in the West, I'm not talking some immigrant who's come here when he's in his mid 20s or late teens. If you're born in the West, you have to understand there's a certain degree of psychological conditioning that we're all under. And you can even see this in immigrants who have children and the children are born in the West. A lot of the time, these black guys, if they even like black guys, they prefer mixed race women or they prefer red boned women or admixed women. Or in the UK, they may prefer Pakistani or Arab women or mixed race women. And I can name at least three West African immigrant children, right? Ghanaians and Nigerians who are with white women. And unfortunately, we have to be acknowledge is that people of ADOS, they are conditioned to be in the West. And in the West, it says the black African woman, and I'm making specifically to say black African non-horner women, are unfortunately seen as the lowest of the lower attractiveness wise. It's a harsh reality. Now, other people will be honest about it and try to combat it, or other people will be delusional about this and say that this is sounding like self-hatred. But unfortunately, this is how it is. Okay, and and that's how it is. And this guy Holloman, yeah, of course, he's going to celebrate ambiguous, exotic, or admixed women because he was raised and his ancestors were raised multiple generations in the West. And it goes both ways because even in Kenya, a lot of white men get worshipped, man. A lot of them say, "Oh, I want a white man," or you see them all over Nairobi and Westgate. They all got a lot of white men, right? Or in some cases, Chinese men. You know, so we have to be real and acknowledge that there is a global hierarchy of beauty. And unfortunately, for black men and definitely black women, as in African black women, towards the bottom, sadly.
Okay, that's a really, really, really great point there, Zulia, right? So, let me ask you a question, Zulia. Did you marry a black woman, an Indian woman, or a white
I
woman?
am with a woman. I'm not going to details, but she is overwhelmingly, she is a black African woman. Yes, she has 4C hair.
Okay. So you found a black woman, Africa. Okay, shout out to you. I know it's kind of interesting. Both me and you, we found African women. The other two panelists, they found white women. So, do you guys, James and Ola, do you guys fetishize white women, or did you just connect more with white women? What led you guys to marrying white women?
I just connected with this woman.
Ah,
That's what
okay,
it is.
okay. So
She could have been
I see.
anybody,
Go ahead.
but I'd rather her be black. To be honest, and me and her break up. Obviously, I'm going after some type of Ghanaian or Nigerian woman because the look that I like are usually found in those women. So at least for black women. So yeah, that's just me though.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. What about you, Ola? Is white woman your type, or it just happened you fell in love with that woman?
No, not that kind of fetish, man. I like the woman. I love the woman a lot. You know, foresight, foresight, tall. You know, got the kind of look I like. Then I make a move. That's just all. You know, I love how they have three beautiful children, bro. For all these years.
Wow, congratulations.
I
Yeah, that's good.
understand
That's
Zola
good.
said, hold on, Zola said that something about West African people are like white, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the truth of the matter is this sometimes Africans are not conditioned actually to see racism. You have to understand that. It's not what people that live in the West for these years. It's not the Africans in the continent that moved to Europe or that live in the continent. Racism is the last thing in their mind or in their perspective or in their camera. You understand? So you have to understand that you know you know, we don't see Africa is not African women. Let me just say, West African women is not the low bottom. You love who you love. You like what you like. Everybody have preference.
Is
You know.
it?
You know what
Are
I
you
mean?
sure
So
about that? Are you
yes,
sure about that?
yes,
Is that why skin
everybody have
bleaching?
preference. Everybody have preference. Must you be loved by somebody else, or somebody else have to rate you for you to know you are very beautiful? Hell no. You understand? We're not living in a Western world whereby Western people dictate what is beautiful, what is not beautiful. Like the way they can treat
Hold
you.
on. But you said earlier on in this live stream that the TV shows that you see in Nigeria are often very westernized. And if I'm not mistaken, Nollywood has a lot of weave going on and a lot of cake soap going on. So
you
where does
you
that
talk
come from?
you talk about wigs or whatever you're talking about. We're talking about dealing with the character of human beings, the characteristics of human beings. Even when they put on these wigs, they still possess the African nature of their characteristics. You understand me? The food, whatever they're doing, their lifestyle is all combined together with their Africanness. You don't have to be. You don't have to. You look. What you watch is a character being played by something else. They're not Europeans, or they're not Caribbeans, or they're not Black Americans. If you deal with them, you live with them, and the Nigerian men that marry them or date them see an African woman with an African, character. I don't look. Let me tell you one thing. I will not sit and allow my wife to be pretending to be black. It's not going to fit. It's not going to fit. So a black woman is a black woman, a white woman is a white woman, a white man is a white man, a black man is a black man. But what is confusing us is this thing that you have to understand. You cannot see a total black people who you think they are black. Even if I see a Kenya black guy, I will know how to see him alone. I understand this is Kenya man. I will know how to approach him. You see a black guy from the west, or be might be born, or be shipped away from generation back. They're coming to meet you. You'll be confused because you don't know how to deal with such a person. Because his behavior and characteristics is not exactly what is in the book of a characteristics of a black people in the continent, or as a whole, as a factory of black people that you understand. When you
Okay.
start dealing with them, you start seeing white people behavior, even things that are even worse than white people behavior. You get confused.
Okay,
That's
I've got two questions, but my first question is, what is the African characteristic? What characteristics do Africans have that westernized blacks? And I'm going to include blacks who have parents who were born in Africa, but they were born in the UK or born in the USA. What characteristics do they have that these diasporan blacks don't have?
what you mean. What you're talking about? First generation of Africans being born in London or in America.
Yes, and Black Americans. What does the African?
First of all, let me tell you one thing. Any let me take Nigeria children as an example. First generation. First of all, they have two type of characters they possess. One outside for the society, the one inside for the parents. That is, they have two caps. The moment they are at home, they are just to the uh, to the dance of their parents. You know what I mean? They can eat the food, speak the language, and behave according to the Nigerian culture. You understand me? If they're outside, that will fit to society because of their day-to-day activities. Not the hoochie ones, but maybe for jobs and everything, they will wear the cap of that aspect of it. Then the moment they're married to a Nigerian man, immediately they will understand the behavior of this African man that is married, that is going to marry, that's going to be his future husband. Let me put it like that. Then this man will not see, even when the accent change a little bit, but he can cook the food, he can greet you as the culture goes by, he can do everything for you, and you understand marriage is not a game, it's not playing ping pong. Marriage is for long time and stay and endure and prosper. And
Yeah,
now hold
yeah.
on, let me finish. And let me finish. The African first generation child will understand this man is not going to turn gay within a year. You understand me? or the man will also understand this girl is not going to turn lesbian like the other ones. What they,
Okay,
was doing now.
yeah, I see what you're saying, but I'm going to push back on some famous black African examples. The most powerful black man of 2023 in the UK was the editor of Vogue. He is a British Ghanaian man, and he is super gay in an interracial homosexual relationship. The editor of Vogue is a homosexual British Ghanaian man, sir. He's extremely gay, like very gay. Yeah. So
You can say what you want to say. I don't know him.
Uh,
I don't
he's the
know.
most he's the most influential black person in the UK of
You,
2023. It was the editor of Vogue, and
you
he is
see,
super gay, like
you see, you
extremely gay.
you
And
bring
apparently,
in,
there's a huh?
you bring in somebody nobody knows nothing about,
No, they do. I'm
and
sure they know.
and
I
okay,
know. Why do I
okay,
know?
okay, okay. How many Africans you will see that will come out and say, okay, I'm the down low side?
No, okay, I get another show. There's this homosexual reality TV show that's come out in the UK earlier this year. It's on ITV, all over the major news. This homosexual reality TV show. There were two contestants on there who were British Africans who were gay. One of which was actually born in Nigeria, and
Well,
I'm not joking. This is true story. And I got
there's
another
no
story of I got another story.
there's no
I've got
gayness in Nigeria. If you talk the
oh
acting
please.
movies,
I've
if
I've got
if you
another
say
story.
something the
I've
acting
got another
movies,
story.
you
I've got another story.
if it's Nollywood, you try to sell, no problem. You can sell Nollywood.
Mm,
You go, okay, this is movie.
I've got
The
another story.
reality
This
is
one's
no,
personal.
there's no gay man.
My god sister, yeah, is a Yoruba woman, British born in the UK. Yeah, she's a lesbian. She had IVF to have a child done by an Italian sperm donor. I kid you not. And this is a woman who spent her teenage years in boarding school in Nigeria, and she turned out a lesbian, getting inseminated by an Italian man, nonetheless. So these are not lies. These are the truth. So Hope Kadola, there's a lot
May
of
I ask you
Africans who
something?
are gay.
May I ask you something? How do you know they are gays? How do you just know these people are gay? How do you know? Because for you to know these people are gays, you have to be inside the community also. You understand me? So because I don't know no gay people. I just saw not too long ago, yesterday or today, that the most famous one that we watch movies, oh, is gay. And the person saying it look like a gay guy too. So for you to know a gay guy, you must have to be inside that community. So that is why what you say now, I don't know nothing about it. You
Oh,
understand
Bro,
me?
Kadola,
you
come
probably
on,
do know
man.
somebody that's gay. They just probably won't tell you. Simple as that.
Who you talking to? Me or Kadola?
Cadola.
I don't know. Look, you want to bend it to be African. You know Africans are gay. I've never seen an African that is gay.
Oh, please.
And
Bro, this is gay people all over the place, bro. And you probably do know some. They just probably won't tell you.
so so what you're talking about now is very, very strange. I understand you be born in the UK, right? You
Of
kind of
course.
like you kind of like black British, right? You know,
Yeah.
you see,
Yeah.
you see, I don't know much about black British. I know some of them. So I don't know if Africans are also calling themselves black British there. But what we're talking about today is this passport bro who are moving everywhere, arranging these females in camera, asking them to sit like that, pose like this, pretend we're having this. I even saw one in Brazil that they arranged this cook who was half partially naked to be cooking for them while he was taking a beautiful bath in the jacuzzi or hot bath. So in that. So look, it this didn't make sense. You know, until this is kind of like weird. You know, for us Africans, if you like a woman, go and talk to that woman. If the woman, if you feel you're good enough, she's single, you're single, you people can have date, go and drink something, go and watch movie, go eat jollof rice, go and eat ogali if that's what you like. You understand? But coming to street, showing fine boy moves, kind of like GQ type of movement, you know, then out of the blue you start complaining, oh, these African girls are beggars, these African girls are this. You went there to approach them. No, you went there just to approach them. So
But
nobody
Kadola,
But the thing,
to move
niggas
over
have
there.
ideas about Africa, really don't know what it's about. They got ideas of it, and then they get bitter when they find out the reality.
You
And then
thank
that's
you,
it.
thank you, my brother. You explained it where I was trying to find way to arrive at what you just concluded now. You have that was they have idea that African women are kind of like low, and this most of these African women are very, very educated. You understand? You might maybe they might not have thousands of dollars, but you cannot just come and be jumping around there, or they'll be running after you. You know, they don't know you. That's why even in the United States, it's very difficult for an African woman to date African American. One, the culture is not the same. It's easy for Nigerian woman to date a Kenyan man because you know what to expect for that Kenyan man. You understand me? It's the same thing if you went to date an African American woman, it will be a little bit difficult for you because one, you see a very black human being, in your mind you think, okay, then the moment you start talking, the
But
characteristics start different.
but Kadola, I asked the question: what are the characteristics that a continental African has that a diasporan African does not have? The characteristics. You said character. I'm not talking about food. I'm not talking about dance. I'm not talking about dress. I'm not talking about customs. I'm talking about character traits that the continental African has that the African American allegedly does not have.
Let me just tell you one thing. One, if you meet a real African woman and you people have good time, when I mean good time, going out, knowing each other, concluding of being together, forming a union, you know that union is strong, very, very strong. If you as an African go and date somebody that the culture, you don't really understand the culture is very, very confusing. You understand me? If you meet, let me give you an example. If you meet a white European person, right? Depending on the country she's coming from, the moment what she will portray to you first is the culture of where she's coming from. It can be German, it can be English, it can be Dutch, it can be Denmark, and everything. Where she's coming from, the approach, the food, the way she behave. Look, what cover every characteristic of a human being is your culture, where you're coming from. Never be passed down to you by your parents. You know what I mean? So you also will also be viewed also under the influence of your own culture. That's where it become more exciting now. You understand? Then there will be compromise through all this system. If you want to be together, there's still is culture that brought all this so-called relating, addressing boundaries and everything. But if you date somebody like a black American, you'll be confused, way confused about the culture. You'll be far confused about the human being. Sometimes the person will be very empty. There's nothing. There's like an air. This person you're dealing with, you don't. It's like air,
So you're still
empty.
saying that you're saying they lack culture, is that right?
They lack everything. You deal with somebody. One hand, it can be very, very cold. You don't know how to deal with this person. You does not understand his emotional clocking. You deal with people emotionally. So
I,
one hand
I,
you look at this person, but actually the the person emotion is not clicking. It's not clicking. It's not clicking.
oh, okay, that's interesting you say that because I would say the Dutch are known as being extremely cold, and very cold. And the stereotype of the Dutch is that they're very sarcastic and not very feeling people. And most Germanic people are not feeling people. They're notoriously cold.
I think you have a very big misconception. I think the British, if you talk about the cold and cunning ones, I think you have to talk about the British. The cold and very cunning. They use is they have a system they're using. If you talk about really cold ones that are very cold, you have to talk about the Germans. You understand me? Those are very, very cold. The Dutch are far more liberal and far more vibrant in most things. Generally, white people have controlled their emotions. They don't smile too much, they don't sad too much, they're not happy too much. They're just in the middle. You understand me? But look, then you understand who you're dealing with now. Now you're not bringing me to the characteristics of a human being now. You understand me? You know this white people, their level of emotion is not too high, it's not too low. They're just in the middle now. When they smile with their lips or they smile with their eyes. They are not as loud as Africans. They dance and everything, they make moves and everything. These people sit down and look at you like, okay. But now come about these black Americans. They are not like that. You get more even confused. The emotion is not high, the emotion is not low. Sometimes they have loud emotions, so they have very low emotions. They come the most lucky things you know in human being that not does not really exist in them. That thing is actually you cannot really tell. It's vanishing. You understand me? One, maybe they like some certain country. They're not like Caribbeans. Let me just get you wrong. They're not like Caribbeans. Caribbeans, you can easily see how they moves. With Caribbeans, you can see, yeah, you're dealing with now somebody that might be related to you. You understand me? But with the black Americans, it's not just there at all. Forget it. Just where they complain on YouTube about every African country, they have their own experience. Just the way they are physically when you start dealing with them. You understand me? They can be very, very cold if they want to be very cold at you, especially when they know you're an African. The dollar just sugarcoat it. Dollars also say, oh, no, they're not like that. Once that accent chill out, you are African, they will go bananas cold at you and they will be very, 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 very mean to you. You understand me? Forget all this. I say, no, we don't know. Forget it, my brother. Say hello to one, you as an African with African accent. You see what will happen. Man, I've been there, down there, man. I've seen what is going on.
Okay, fair enough. But Cadola, there are gay Africans. Okay, trust me. I'm not one of them. Don't worry. But they're out there. They are out there. Okay, there's quite a few going out there. At least in the UK. I'll tell you that.
I'm not saying, look, this
And
girl of
apparently,
a thing,
there's
this
a
girl
there's
of
a,
a thing, I'm not really into, as long as they're not hurting me, they can be on their own, I'll be on my own, you know what I mean? But I don't want none of my sisters or relatives that are very close to date black American women and men. That's just the truth. I'll say my choice, I'll say the way it is. I say if you want to have a long term relationship, just stay out of that place. Because I grew up with father and mother, right? That stayed together for years, for more than 40 years. My dad is my dad is gone now, but my mom is still there, still representing him. Not jumping around having 20 boyfriends and everything. They married for more than 40 years for my dad depart this earth. But my mom is still there. I'm seeing these things. So will you sit with women or men, you that came out of this stable line, even when you poor, but you came out of this kind of stable line, you want the same thing for yourself. Loyalty, not this partial loyalty, this auxiliary loyalty. No, you don't want that. You want loyalty. You know, no matter how you date black American women, they will still cheat on you. And we Africans can't take that. They can cheat on their men because it's normal to them. Their culture is totally different from us. That's the truth. So if you want a long-term relationship, you have to look for somebody that's also have that stability in their brain and in their system. You can talk about it, but just know that when that clock click, the whole thing will flip on you. Especially if you live in the United States. If you live in the United States, you're even going to be the worst. So if you marry them, you probably live in Africa, the children, okay, that might be something else. But if you live without the United States, just forget it. You can be walking somewhere, should be banging somebody else from the street. That's just the
wow.
way it is. You get me?
Yeah.
If I'm lying, ask them to come to this panel and defend themselves. We all know how it goes, bro. You know. No, I'm telling you the truth. If you marry to one of them, you are at your job. No matter what you're doing, they will flip on you still. It just it depends. That just that. Look, forget it if they are doctors or if they are lawyers, is a is their characteristics. You understand? It's just their characteristics. We don't know why. Maybe it's their own system there. Now I prefer
When you
to marry to white American than marry to black American.
when you said forget it if they're a doctor or a lawyer, what do you mean? What do you mean forget it if they're a doctor or a lawyer? What difference does that make?
They will see cheat.
Really, man?
Yes,
Wow.
100%. It's all about the money. They like money a lot. If you have money, they look. They like money a lot. Also, everything is based on money. Forget all these ones that going to Africa, all these rejected ones that are going to Africa to look for boyfriends or husband. These are rejected ones from United States. Five baby mama with five children with men. These are any black Americans that's going to Africa. These are rejected ones. They are their men refuse to talk to for more than 5 years. You know, is the truth. Is the truth. They don't. They have some money, little money, but they don't. They, they just came there to look for companion, people that can touch them. Every woman needs touching. You know what I'm saying? So the truth is, what, why do you want to deal with rejected ones that they all men rejected that they come now? They're now Africa shaking their twinkling for you. Now, so wow, because the accent is different. But if you live in Africa, you don't know that. They'll be telling you, no, don't go to America. America is bad. Don't, no, because they don't want you to know much about them.
What
It's
what about that guy Mark? You know the one that goes to Tanzania, quite geeky looking, Mark or something. Not Holloman. There's another one called Mark. He's in Tanzania, quite geeky, level-headed guy. Have you heard of him? Mark.
no. I don't know nothing about that guy.
Okay, well, he's quite different. I'm sure his parents were married. He goes to these African countries, and I think he tries to at least learn the culture. He learns the language. Locals seem to like him, but he's very different from what I've seen. He is very different. Obviously, when you say these things, Kadola, there's going to be exceptions, right? The majority could be the way you describe, but there's always going to be exceptions, right?
No,
Who do
no,
go
don't get me
there.
wrong. There's a difference between. Let me just put it straight to you. There's a difference between Black Americans and Caribbeans. Let me just put this because I've been around Black Caribbean women as friends. I've eaten in their houses. I've sit with them. I've visited. Their culture. Different accent, but their culture is mirrored to the type of Africa. I'm talking about character now. Character. Talk about the way they're disciplined, the way they operate, the way they arrange them, their whole structure is not. Maybe because the Caribbeans have more communication with Africans by bringing more Africans towards them. During the time of those what happened in the past, or because they share similar type of. Let me be honest, real food with West Africans. Let me just be honest with Africans generally. You understand? That's what I'm just saying that when I'm not talking about Jamaicans that born in United States. I mean Jamaicans or Caribbeans that born in that different territories, but that came to Western world that I've come across. That they invited me.
I
I've
think
had
I
dinner with
think I,
them.
I think a major reason why that is because a lot of these islands, like they didn't really have a lot of white people in them. As a percentage of the island inhabitants, there weren't that many white people. So when slavery ended, they still had a lot of Africans who came over fairly recently, and the population kind of just stayed within that group. So they just, you know what I mean? There wasn't an influx of white people going in there. There were a lot of white people leaving. So there were just a lot of Africans left there in these islands, right? A lot. So they didn't really mix with white people as much, right? So a lot of these islands, I've been to a few, and honestly, there's so many people that they just look like they just came straight out of Africa, man. It always shocks me when I go to some of these islands. They're basically, physically, they look man, they just look African, man.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
quite shocking.
yeah, that's what I mean. That you can easily. That's what I said. I've been to their houses. I've eaten their food. Watched their structures. Their what I mean, their own government that govern their type of lifestyle and everything. I've seen that. Man, look. Have you ever seen really a Jamaican person? Let me say Caribbean descendant, right? It might be living in America. It might even be born in America. That actually come to Africa and complain.
I
No,
haven't, no, I haven't, no.
no, that's that. You see, that's what I mean. You understand me? That's what I'm, and they are far more richer. Even when they're in Africa, they are far more. They're the ones having really the money to build things. Really, if you check the background of these black people, something in Africa that have these houses, you check their background. They are from these Caribbean islands because some of them work hard actually to save. If you go to somewhere like Gambia, I was surprised the guy from Caribbean have one of the biggest hotel there. You understand me? Married to a beautiful Caribbean, a lady from Britain, the same color, Caribbean lady. You understand? If you come to Nigeria, if you come to there's some Jamaicans, Caribbean that came to Nigeria 30 years ago. They're still there married with Nigerian men. You understand? Some of them might be live alone. Maybe their husband is dead now. You understand? So I've come across some certain things that make me conclude that it seems like, yeah, these other ones can be hard to be. I'm not saying love is different. Love is different. Knowing somebody is different, but you have to be very, very careful how you place. It's money. If you live in America, real man, if you date these women, Black American women, it's all about money. Let me just that is the difference between a white woman and a Black American. White woman will deal with you by knowing who you are. Have you ever seen where a white woman will marry you? You don't have money, you don't have penny. It will fix you up, encourage you.
Yeah, I've seen that. I have. To be fair, I have seen that. Even in my own family, I've seen that.
You
Unfortunately,
see,
I have seen.
it will fix you up, it will encourage you, it will push you, it will support you till you achieve what you want to achieve. Then, if you are from Africa, you want to build houses there, she will support you, she will bring in the money, she will not make no noise and start saying, "Where you taking my money to, man? You taking my money to somewhere different?" No. You people go and build that mansion. If it's hotel, you want to build hotel, you people build hotel. All my friends that married to white women, they have businesses, hotels, and everything. They drive with G wagons. Economically, they are far more better. But you have to be strategic, eh? Let's just be honest. Do you want to die in poverty, or you want to improve yourself?
Yeah, okay, I got one interesting thing is when you talk about money, yeah. 'Cause I dated some African like women born in Africa, yeah. Nigerian, Zimbabwean in the UK. And a lot of the ones that are born in Africa, man, a lot of them ended up with white guys because they wanted financial clout. You know what I mean? It's particularly Southern Africa. The immigrants, a lot of them ended up with white guys, man. So I think that
Yeah.
whole money thing might be a female nature thing, yeah. Because I saw a lot of African women, the immigrants not born in the UK, who are looking come off the plane and they're looking for a white man, man. I've seen it. I've been to churches and I've seen it, and I've seen like, oh wow, every single couple here is an immigrant with a white man.
Okay, interesting. Just before we get back to that, Felipe had a question. Is this a question you want to ask? Go ahead, Felipe, or contribution that you want.
Thank you, Kaizo. Greeting, brothers. It's good to see you again today. Kadola has been going on a tear here. I was trying to understand who he had been around and where. This was my concern, Brother Kadola, is when you say the kinds of things that you're saying, the reaction from most Black Americans would be this kind of criticism that's coming from the Tariq Nasheeds of the world, and my concern is it creates a rift because it both Tariq Nasheed and what you're saying are generalizations. So my query to you was, what level of Black American have you been around that you had that kind of criticism? Are these people who are college graduates? Are these people who have intergenerational wealth and, companies that are owned, and have been owned by their parents or grandparents? What level of Black American are you discussing with your commentary? That was a
Is that question
question.
for
That
Lola?
was a question, Brother Kadola.
Uh, 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 I've seen, not like I've had, I've seen a lot of Africans that have been with Black Americans, and it was not actually the sources. Neither,
I'm not questioning that. I'm asking the class and background of these non-successes. That's what I'm asking.
I'm not talking about their financial successes. I'm talking about their relationship successes. Because I don't
So
know your
so
bank
am
account.
I. So am I, in the sense
So
of this.
relationship successes is this. You have to understand Africans. Let me just put Nigeria first, because I'm not speaking for the all Africans. I might not even be speaking for the all Nigerians. But for most of my friends and acquaintances and the really distant friends that I've seen that married to some of these Black Americans, I can tell you, let's say 10, 8 of them came back to Nigeria or went back to uh, marry an African lady. Then when you ask what was the reason that your first marriage with this African American, this Black American woman was not the success, we said, man, one, cultural, big time cultural differences, viewing of things, and financial aspect. You understand? That financial aspect is this: they want you to carry the whole load. You understand? The whole load. But though they don't want you to share also that be an African, we also help people outside of our environment. We also help people with the back if they're in Africa or wherever, still the family. African American will go bananas on that. Then lo- loyalty. The more they know you're an African, they try to undermine you in every ways. One, it might be cool, it might be adventurous, it might be curiosity why they date you. It might be financial aspect why they date you. It might be trying to say, okay, let me see who's this guy. But behind the scene, you can be working hard, they'll go back and start sleeping with other guys outside. Might be Black Americans, might be anybody, you know. And these are the things that actually that I've seen and been told also by close people. You understand? That's just all. So it's not about the class. They can be lawyers. I know my friend who dated a Black American who was a lawyer, but who still want to cheat, who still want him to be working and bringing the money, and start saying you're not staying in Africa. This is not Africa. This is America. They have a son together. You
Well,
understand?
brother Kadola, I mean, I'm not doubting that you saw what you saw. My question to you is it fair to take your sample size of however many people you're talking about, five different people, 10 different people, I don't know. But to take that sample size and extrapolate it to 40 million Black Americans, or better stated, 20 million Black families. And I'm saying Black American families. Is your sample size of 5 people you met, or 10 people you met, or 50 people you met, is that a fair representation? If we took Black American out of what you said and reversed it and said Nigerians, would you feel that what you said was fair and accurate?
Eh, eh, you can flip it to Nigerian, right? You can flip it also to Nigerian. You understand? But what I'm telling you right now, majority, no, now I'm talking about majority of African men that married to Black Americans, the relationship end up in miserably. What I mean, frustrating, sad, regret, waste of time. You understand? Waste of time. You know,
I'm
no,
not
nothing
doubting.
good, nothing good comes out of that relationship. Not,
I'm
not,
not doubting what you
nothing.
saw. I'm questioning whether that's representative of the whole group. You've got a 60. Hold on. You've got a
use that. Yes,
60%.
yes,
Wait.
yes.
You've got a 60% divorce rate in the United States of all groups, and it's higher than that depending on whose stats you look. And most of them, these 60% of all groups in the United States, end miserably. So then, is what you're saying a fair characterization of the whole group? I'm not saying you didn't see what you saw.
What brought me to this aspect of they should be very careful. Africans and them are not compatible. It's about a guy that went to Africa. He thought he could use Africans just like the way he did in Brazil or in Colombia or in Thailand by placing these guests somewhere, by directing them, like if it's acting part two in Nollywood, them asking them to say this, to act one kind, or to pretend like he's like a lover boy, and 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 what actually happened is all this didn't happen. So he started, saying things on the social media, on YouTube Live, saying Africa's women are beggars, Africans are this, Africans are that. You know what I mean? So when he starts saying all these things, then what do you expect me to say? I have to come out also to say, no, this guy, if this is what Africans actually have to understand, that doesn't mean that because somebody is black, it's like your skin color, that you look, if I met a Kenya girl, the Kenya girl will easily know me as an African man, know what to expect from me. I also know what to expect from the Kenyan girl. First of all, she will serve me her cultural cuisine. I would study her through her culture. I will study her everything, that culture that I live through, everything about her, studies about her, right? The way she approaches, the way she moves. I said, once these African people understand that these Black Americans do not have such a culture that you will study, that the culture you see is a white man culture, even far more, only God knows what it is compared to the white man, even. That is far more confusing to you as an African to study such a person, because one hand it can be looking very nice, one hand it can be very cold, and one hand it does not actually likes you. You understand? So that's just the truth.
I
And
understand. I understand what you're saying.
Anybody, hold on.
Yeah,
Anybody
go
can
ahead.
spin it. Anybody can spin it to what you want to spin it to. It's just the truth. I've come across a lot of Black Americans way back in Europe when I was even trying to say hello to them. They were, the moment they understand my accent that I'm an African, they went cold on me. The same thing. This guy tries. The same thing still pulling off in Africa when he came to Africa. He criticized them. He criticized whatever Ghana, Kenya, and Tanzania. So
Did
nobody asked you
did
to come to Africa. The African women don't even know you. You are the one who invite yourself. Then you say
Okay,
you look.
Okay, can I say this back? I don't know because it sounds like we're using this one person as the representative of his group, and that happens all around the world. But it sounds like that's what we're doing here. And I would argue a couple of things. One thing is YouTube travel channels and things like that is also a business, meaning that you need some form of controversy or connection with an audience in order to get people to watch your channel. If your channel is all flowers and roses and compliments to other groups and other people, nobody's going to watch. That's just a reality, unfortunately. So it's a kind of reverse relationship that you have with your viewers to get people to watch. You need controversy, you need conflict. And I will argue, I don't know this to be true. I do not know the individual that you are referencing.
Yeah, you see,
once he got into the situation he had in Brazil, then he needed to continue to have eyes on his channel. And part of getting those eyes was to have controversies, albeit not the level that he had in Brazil, but controversies everywhere he went. And what I have noticed is he will go to a place, he will have a pleasant experience, and then after he leaves, he will crap on the place that he was. And that suggested to me that part of it is that if you say these controversial things, you get people like Brother Kadola upset, and then people watch. I'm not saying that's what he's
So
doing.
you guys know that I was just sitting here thinking, it does feel good to take a break from Africa for a bit. I love the food, love the weather, the people, but all that begging, man, everywhere you go, somebody trying to scam you. The women ain't got no money. And every now and then they trying to hit you with a okie doke and try to get $60 here, $60 there. I mean, after a while, man, that man, you can. Africa is not as cheap as it seems.
Did he say this shit about any other group of women? Did he say that about Asian women? Did he say that about South American women? Did he say beggars? Did he say women ain't got no money? Did he say that about any other group of women or any
Thank
other
you.
continent?
Thank
No.
you, thank you, thank you,
But what
thank you.
I'm
Thank
saying
you.
is, why did he say it? It's dumb as hell to come on a channel and then crap on a place that you just went to. He was just all around Africa. Why would you do that unless there's some sort of financial incentive?
Well, one thing that's important to take into account here is that regarding passport bros, you have to understand that there are two different mating strategies here. You have a short-term, low-investment mating strategy. This is a mating strategy that Austin Holloman is on. He is having short-term relationships with a series of women just for the purposes of having as much sex as possible. You know, this is very much the red pill manosphere mating strategy. Just to, high copulation rate. The purpose is not to build families; is to maximize how many women you can have sex with. That kind of strategy, I don't agree with at all. I think it causes a lot of problems, not just for the person who is doing that, but there's a lot of bad emotions that you're going to generate with that strategy. This is what I call a passport pookie. Now, there's another type of mating strategy that's a long-term, high-investment mating strategy. These are men who are looking for wives or relationships that are for the long term. I think that kind of passport bro is a benefit to wherever they go, but you have to distinguish the two. Not everybody has the same mating strategy. I just wanted to add that to the conversation.
What I agree with Kadola on this. I should come to think about this because if what you said just now, the person who said it, I can't see my screen, is true, a person like that wouldn't dare do that in the Middle East. They wouldn't dare do that in China. And if this is a conservative culture, which by what Kadola sounds like it is mostly conservative, someone like him is a disgrace and doesn't fit in. And if he pulled that crap in the Middle East, he'll be swinging from a tree, right? So if he wants to do that, he should do that in Brazil or Colombia or another culture where that's allowed. He shouldn't go to a conservative country and think that just because he's black, he can go and make these women single mothers like he would do in the United States.
Well, wait, let's not extrapolate there. Chukwu said something brilliant in distinguishing someone who's an expat from someone who's a traveler. That's the first thing. The second thing is to give a nuance of that guy. There are 40 million Black Americans in the United States. He's one man. And to extrapolate what one man is saying for 40 million people is wild. In addition to that, I understand what Ola is saying. He's saying, listen, I've seen a bunch of these couples, and look, the cultures don't seem compatible. I would argue, listen, there are people that go into relationships thoughtfully, and there are people that jump in and have difficulties. And I would argue that to say across class lines, across ethnic lines in terms of Black Americans, because there's a lot of diversity, but even in state to state, a Black American from North Carolina is not like a Black American who's from Detroit. And that Black American is not like someone from Philly. Each one of these former English colonies that became the United States had their own culture, their own history, and their own relationship to the larger whole. Now, is there some universal Blackness in terms of how Black African people were treated in the United States? Yes. But to say that, therefore, one guy who goes to, various African countries and has certain issues and broadcasts them is therefore representative of a Black American opinion, experience, whatever. I think that's a step too far. Would you guys agree?
Well, I don't agree that Austin Holloman doesn't represent all Black American males, but culturally, I would say it's not just a Black American thing; it's a Western thing. The this Western idea of love is heavily rooted in this idea of romanticism. Like love is something; it's like a feeling that is very fleeting. And a lot of Western marriages seem to be based on the romantic ideas. But in Africa, marriage is more about building families and connecting families. So it's this romantic idea is not prominent in marriages, at least in Nigeria, where I was born. So my wife and I are Nigerian, and we're married. I love her very much, but our marriage is also we're married because we want to build a family, and we don't have any plans of divorcing our when our families are connected with our marriage. It's more than just me and my wife. It's our families are connected. But in Western marriages, it's much more about an individual pursuit of romantic notion of love. And that, I think, Kidola makes a good point. There are different cultures related to marriage, and the Western culture of marriage is rooted on a false idea of romanticism, where this Nigerian idea of love and marriage is based on more connecting of families. So I just wanted to add that and see if anybody agrees or disagrees with that.
I think that's very thoughtful. Azulia, I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
I don't know, if that is the case, well, then that's screwed then, because there's so much single mother rates and broken families in the African American community in 2023 that kind of makes it difficult to unite a family when only one half of the pairing has a family, really. You know what I mean? But that's all I wanted to say.
I mean, I think it's a good observation, Chikuwu, again, and Zulia. Listen, my only point to Brother Kadola was let's have a conversation about it respectfully and see what common ground we can come to. I don't think that most Black Americans are represented by the individual who they just put on the screen. Most of them are not even on the internet. They're trying to earn a living and raise their children. So let's start there. That of who is the demo that's even online. But then going from that is this issue about values, and I do agree that Western marriage has moved away from traditional marriage in the sense that it's a business transaction. I do see the argument there, and I don't want to discount what Brother Kadola was talking about. I understand that. What I would say to him, though, is of those couples that he saw, how many of those people, being the Black American side of those couples, had a family business? Because I would argue that if that Black American person in the couple had a family business, meaning that they have intergenerational wealth, they would have approached that marriage a lot differently than what he saw. I would also argue that if that Black American in the couples he saw were a person that was really, really killing it as a professional person, that some of the picadillos that he described of them sleeping around and so on, they just wouldn't have time for it. So what you're describing is a certain circumstance of a group of people that Brother Kadola saw that I'm not going to say is not representative of Black America. Actually, he saw it. But I am going to say that the percentage of people that are actually like that is smaller than what he thinks. Would that be a fair point to make?
Well, from my point of view, I see this short-term low investment mating strategy is seems to be the norm in dating in the West. So it's like a series. Most people I live in Miami. Most people here engage in a series of relationships throughout their whole life, and the people who get married are more likely to get divorced and remarry, and it's not a very, from what, this is just anecdotal for what I've seen since I've been here since I was 4 years old. It's most people who are dating are just going from a series of short-term relationships throughout their life, and if they get married, most of them will end up divorced. And this is not, I think, a sustainable, or this is not a strong foundation to connect a family or to build a family. So I do see, I've dated Black American women and Caribbean women, and I think culturally, African woman understands where I'm coming from, because I was, I spent part of the year in Nigeria, and I was born there, and my culture is still, I was raised, in an Igbo culture. So I think there has to be a cultural similarity to build a strong foundation, and I just don't see that in a Black American culture. I'll just leave it at that.
Let me throw something to you. I'm going to suggest that many African cultures are thousands of years old. Would people agree on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. The United States itself as a country is not even 1,000 years old. Would people agree on that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
True.
Okay. The people that are in the United States, did it change in 1968? Who was there and who was not?
Did the population change?
The demographics.
Yeah, it did.
So what do you guys know what the rule was prior to 1968?
Does this have to do with the Great Society and FDR and the
Okay,
welfare?
I don't want to make it a quiz, Q&A. Here's the deal. Prior to 1968, the immigration laws of the United States did not allow for the demographic percentages of the population to change based on U.S. immigration. Meaning, if the country at its foundation was 70% Mzungu, 20% African, Black American, 10% other, those numbers could not change through America's immigration policy. That was the law. In 1968, the United States passed the 1968 immigration law. And that law was fought for by Black Americans. That law is when many of the Africans and Asians and Latinos that are here today were allowed in because the numbers were able to be increased to shift the demographic percentages. And if you notice, there's a huge backlash to this now in the United States of people demanding that people speak in English and countless other reactions to immigrants. It was not an easy thing to do. And what I'm going to say is, with regards to these marriages and dating strategies and so on, it was illegal for an African anything to marry outside of their race. We had laws in the United States called miscegenation laws. And if you did this, you could be jailed, you could be lynched, you could be attacked. Now, I'm laying that as a foundation to say, let's talk about now and who these Black Americans are now and their interaction with Africans. I have known several Africans that have married Black Americans. The marriages went well and there were no issues. But the economic foundation that was up under those couples, because they usually were people that met at university and had professional jobs, maybe they became teachers or something like that. They had a pension and a strong foundation economically up under them so that they could learn each other. That paradigm no longer exists. It doesn't exist for all of America, but specifically it doesn't exist for Black America. So I would throw back to Brother Cadola that part of what you're seeing in terms of the values and approaches to marriage and debauchery is a degradation of the level of person and how they behave, because there's a degradation of their economic security. And I'm going to throw to that as I started my point, it's an unfair assessment to say that that's most of Black America or this is Black American culture. I just think it's unfair to say that. Go ahead.
Why is it harder for you to find African American professionals? You said that dynamic doesn't exist anymore. What changed that prevent professional Africans from dating professional African Americans? What's changed? Why doesn't that demographic that configuration happen anymore? Why?
I will tell you. In 1972, President Nixon allowed for the offshoring of factories. The Black American middle class was built off of factory work. 70% of Black Americans labor, even to this day, is unskilled labor. Okay. Now, in the United States going up to that, 2 factory laborers could earn almost as much as 2 Mzungu factory labor. Now, why is that important? because you need that to be able to buy a house. And if you want to send your kid to college, a lot of people, what they do is they borrow against the equity in their house. So when that factory labor went away, and this is where the crucial turn happened, a lot of Black American families turned to the street in black market economy rather than turning towards Africa. And that is where we have remained ever since. And it grows and grows and grows, because the reality of it is, when that factory labor was offshored, there was a financial undergirding that happened with Black American women that did not happen with Black American men. So Black American women who had children, they could apply for public assistance. In some cases, Black American women could apply for loans and government support to go to college. Black American men received none of that. And because they did, they went to the street. Now, it is my view that this was a huge miscalculation, and what they should have been doing is trying to work with Brother Ola and Brother Chukwu and Brother Kaizo and Brother Zulia to build supply chains and infrastructure economically. But we're only getting on that now. There's been a lost 30, 40 years of street economy stuff. And that has been disastrous. Now, there are a lot of reasons for that, which I could give you, but I don't want to over talk. I want this to be a dialogue. So I'm going to let you guys respond.
Help me understand something. You're saying that a lack of factory work is what has led to the single motherhood rate? What has that done to the Black family? Exactly.
What I'm saying in no uncertain terms is you need economic stability to build intergenerational wealth. And you need intergenerational wealth to be able to get an education in the United States. That these loan programs and things like that didn't exist initially. People, if you go all the way until, I'm going to say, the 1980s, you hear people talk about, I worked my way through college. So in other words, the federal government in the United States, particularly in the big city areas, was subsidizing university education. So you could go in New York to the SUNY schools and basically pay out of pocket and go to college. You could go to UCLA and basically pay out of pocket and go to college. A college class was $200. That all changed when the loan system, basically Ronald Reagan changed it in California and then it went nationwide. As a result of the civil rights movement and public protests and the Black Panthers and whatever, Ronald Reagan introduced into the University of California system a system of loans and raising the price of tuition where people had to pay more money. Now, his theory, and you can go back and Google this, that he thought that all the college kids were brats and spoiled, was that if they had to pay more money for it, then they would value the education more. What that did to Black America was it shrank their populations in college. And you have essentially what you have now, which is a lot more Black women than Black men who go to college, and that's basically because the families can't afford it.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think the government still does back a lot of student loans, and that has the effect of increasing tuition as time goes by, because education is like a business, and student loans are kind of like the subprime mortgage loans of today. So it's incentivized universities to offer degree programs that, cost money but don't benefit the person getting the student loan. But
you're not seeing it. Look, the American middle class was built off of the GI Bill. People that serve, and I will even take it a step further. To be in the Black middle class, you need one of these three things. You need at least one grandparent that served in World War II and was able to use their GI Bill, meaning usually that they had to gain access to a historically Black college. You need either that, or you need a one black grandparent who was a trade unionist, meaning that they got union wages, union health care, union pension. If you don't have, or a number of grandparents that have that, if you don't have one of those two things that I just described, you are not in the black middle class. That's how small of a window it was. And I challenge you to prove me wrong.
Well, my question is this: what does this have to do with the black family marriage rates and single motherhood? Well,
to your query, you can look, and there are all kinds of charts. Just Google it. By 1980, when you pulled the economic floor of factory and unskilled labor work from under Black Americans, you see a spike in incarceration of Black Americans. And that is the Black Americans going into the street economy in the 1970s and then starting to be jailed for it by the 1980s. At the same time, Black Americans in the late 60s, early 70s were actually more likely to be married than white Americans. You can look up the numbers on this. But when the economic legs were cut from under them, then their marriage rates dropped. Because I will say this, marriage is a statement of class and luxury ability. It is a financial statement to be married. It is not just a custom. And you said it best, that in Africa and a lot of these traditional places, it is a joining of families through somewhat of a business transaction, as much as it is a love transaction.
About lineage. It's about building a lineage and a legacy and connecting.
But you would agree, there will be no lineage if there's no finance behind that lineage. Even in the most rural of African places, you have to make a wealth statement to get a marriage. Yes or no?
Well, you have to pay a bride price.
The bride price is a wealth statement. And what I'm saying is that Black Americans, generally, if they don't have what I just described, which was either one grandparent that served in World War II and was able to effectuate their GI Bill, meaning that they were able to go to a HBCU, or they had one grandparent that was a trade unionist. If they didn't have either one of those things, then they likely are not in the Black middle class. I'm sorry to say.
Well, I have a slightly different understanding. I think what happened when the factory jobs went away is that there was also a welfare expansion. And it created an environment where women could depend more on the state. And they really they had the option to not have a husband. They could just depend on the state to make up any shortfall in their income, to provide housing assistance. And it became like the safety net became like a web that people fell into for generations. And I think that more closely explains what we're seeing, because marriage rates were very high.
Wait, can I throw something into your analysis while you're making? I'll let you go back. Do you need welfare if you have a job or a family business?
Do you need welfare if you have a job or family business? No.
Okay. So what happened to the Black family businesses that were created during the segregated period?
Well, with desegregation, essentially, those businesses were outcompeted by the dominant society businesses. So,
exactly, or the people walked away from them because they wanted to be quote unquote American and be part of the larger economy as opposed to the segregated economy. So,
right, but regarding the Black family, my line of question was regarding the family,
but the family requires breadwinners. And if you aren't earning money because you are not able to access the employment, then you're done. And this is the thing. So Black Americans tried to integrate. It failed because the whites didn't hire them, not in the numbers they needed to be fully employed. So what happened? They went to the street. And you see that today. It's not complicated. But if you don't know the underpinnings of what happened, then it doesn't work.
Right. So are you saying that integration was a mistake? Segregation was better for Black people? I don't understand.
No, I'm saying that what should have happened was that Black Americans turned towards you, Brother Chukwu and Brother Kadola, and that we worked together like the Asians and the Arabs did to build business infrastructure and supply chains in the 70s so that we kept those small businesses and we had circulating money. Not that integration was good, but that we didn't turn towards each other. We turned away from each other. And because we still do this, which is why I injected into this conversation, because we still have these caricature beliefs about each other, we don't have those supply chains now and we don't circulate money. And so therefore, we are a very weak people. We don't have not one multinational African on the continent or Black American or Black Latino multinational corporation that spans worldwide. And the reason why is because we don't work together and we have a caricature view of one another. We don't know each other's histories. We don't know each other's languages. We don't spend the time to do what the Asians did, what the Arabs did. At the same time the factory labor went away in the United States, the Asians went back to their home countries and started building infrastructure for supply chains. And the result is they have their own grocery stores, they have their own supply for goods and services, and they have their own communities that circulate that money. Black Americans and Africans don't even eat the same food. How are we going to shop at the same store? How are we going to put our money into the same banks? Black Americans have all kinds of obstacles to get citizenship, property, investment, anything in Africa. There are all these barriers. And so because of that, we don't circulate money and we're a bottom class globally. All the other groups do this, even the Arabs. And the point to that is this. We're seeing it right now. Jewish Americans or the small hat Americans are one of the smallest groups in the United States, but their influence over American policy is huge. We're seeing it right now. How are they doing that? Because they circulate money and we don't. It's just that simple. And I would argue that it's not going to be a member of the Black American community like Mr. Holloman that's going to promote us getting those sockets in Africa together so we can circulate the money to create plugs to plug into in Africa. We need to work together, but we're not going to get there if we think the worst of each other.
So are you a Pan-Africanist?
Now, I would argue that I'm just a simple, let's get Black business globally circulating money. I don't like some of these labels of what they seem to mean and who represents them, because it starts to get into this thing of who do you agree with? Are you a Du Boisian Pan-Africanist, or are you a Dr. Umar Pan-Africanist, or are you a Garveyite? And all of those people were commenting on a period that's not now, except what's his name, Umar. And I would argue Dr. Umar made a tremendous mistake in the sense of this. The money that he's raised for that school, wherever the heck it is, he could have taken that money and opened up a school in Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, you name it, and had a much bigger impact, and then done an after-school program here in the United States that could have gone national. And to circulate kids going to his school in Africa and back to the United States, or even broadcasting from his school in Africa, various, public education and things like that. He could have had a huge impact. But because he tried to make it America-centric, it's struggling because schools are very expensive to build and own. You see the public tax dollars struggle to do it. So how are you going to do it from fundraising from a group of Americans that is not fully employed? It's just not It's not something economically
Yeah,
that works.
Felipe, I generally agree with you, and Chuku, this is the issue I have with these pro-black Pan-African movements is the narrative
Mm.
basis,
Mhm.
right? So instead of focusing on things that work, for example, I'm not going to open up a school in America or the UK because it's expensive, and the barrier to entry is a lot more, right? There's a lot more rules, regulations, and it's going to be much harder for you to actually get yourself a curriculum because it's a lot more laborious, right, to get all the checks done. I would have just opened up in an African country, a safe African country. In fact, that's what they do in the UK, in Kenya. If you come here and you look at all the international schools, these are schools opened up by Britain and other people for their expats, and they're also their soldiers and anyone that's working here in the NGOs. They're great schools, and do you know that those schools are way better than the ones in the UK for obvious reasons, right? They can select the best talent in Kenya and any other diasporan. They can get really cheap land that they can lease for 100 years or so, building. Point is, if you want to make a school, if you want to do a business, sorry, you want to make sure that you can build something that you can show the results of in a short amount of time so that you can get the momentum going. Then once that school is ready, you already understand the flow of business. Okay, how do I hire people? Which people should I hire? The pricing, the costs, the issues that you're going to get with children. Then you can expand that. The issue is with Pan Africanism, it's too much of hope, right? There's hopium, and unfortunately, you need hope, right? You need to believe in a greater, I don't know, like net positive. But when you're living on hopium, that's now the issue when it comes to business.
Yeah, you need to be productive. So, my family, we own and operate a school in Nigeria, like a primary school and a secondary school. So it's labor intensive, and you have to go there constantly and make sure that you have the right books and materials, and it's very, you have to have a presence in Nigeria to really to do it effectively. So
I agree with both of you, and see what we can do when we talk together and work together. Brother Kaiser, I appreciate your commentary, and Brother Chukwuwu, listen, man, we can get it done, but we got to come to it as brothers and say, look, let's focus on the bag, and I'm not so big on the labels. Just let's see what we can do to build. The other problem we need is banking infrastructure. We don't have one African nor Black American bank that's multinational where we can scale businesses. Not one. And because of that, we're weak.
yeah, I think before Pan-Africanism.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
I think before Pan-Africanism can be a reality, there's a lot of development that has to occur in advance of us becoming economically interconnected. I think each nation, each country has to develop itself and produce something that could be traded on the market or could benefit another country before you can interconnect. I think we're still in the building phase. I think I think Pan-Africanism comes after a long series of building, getting economic wealth or producing something that has value that could be traded, and then trading with another country that could use that material, and then building on economies of scale that way. What do you think about that?
I think that's true. I think I put it in the back chat. What happened to the last Black American bank in Chicago? The Bank of Ghana tried to go in there and save it, and basically it got regulated by the various regulators of the United States out of business. But part of it was because the strength of the Bank of Ghana was not such that it could stand up to international scrutiny. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Where to start? I think we have to do each other more better. It's just not on one side. You know, I say one side. It's not just to bash. Why? It's not because of Tariq Seed I sound the way you see I sound, or it's just the way I saw things. I've seen things. Also come in contact with. I know it might not be everybody, but the more you
Just real quick, I got to head out, but I'm going to listen from the chat. Thanks for talking to me.
okay, bro. So the more you come across from certain people, and the more you get thinking, oh, wow, all these things. I appreciate uh, all what you have said. I respect that a lot. I respect you. I didn't mean to be rude or anything, but it's just my way of expression. You know, that's what I mean. You know, so it's not really anything. It's not on hard feelings or anything. That's all.
Brother Kazola, I appreciate your commentary. And listen, man, these are the kind of hard conversations that we have to have. And I feel bad that, unfortunately, that a lot of the things that you saw with the Black American community were not the best. But I would say, brother, don't give up on us. We don't give up on you. And that if we work together, we can really do something. But we can't fall into the pessimism of, these are just bad people. And that's what troubles me with some of the messaging that's coming out of both sides is that we come to these conclusions of, these people are just bad people, or they're irredeemable, or whatever it is. And the fact of it is, there are too many people for me to have that opinion. My little small sample size is not enough to know what you're really about, Brother Kadola.
All right. Yeah, we just have to keep on knowing each other. I think that's the only thing, communicating, meetings, hearing from somebody like you. I don't really know you. This is the first time I even hearing you, I've never come across you in any platform at all. It's just what happened is just this guy from I don't know, this passport bro. It's a little bit strange. You see, media can be used for good, also can be used for bad. You know what I'm saying? It can be used for good, it can also be used for bad. So most of the negative things you might said, oh, that's Africa don't like us. It be spread through media and through they don't like us continuously, they don't like us continuously. And it was purposely being done. I've never seen whereby African American have come across an African who said, oh, I don't like you. It's not even our thought not to like anybody. Because we'll not be trained to hate anybody, but we'll be trained to navigate because of our different tribal, ethnic setting in my zone where I'm coming from. I'm not talking about the whole of Nigeria, at least in my rural area where I'm coming from. Respect.
Thank you, brother. And what I was going to say to you is like, look, man, we got to get this idea of being able to zone and collect taxes in an effective way done in these various African countries, because we can't build anything if we can't fundraise and we can't invest in each other's projects. To build a school, or to build a water well, or to build a factory, it takes a lot of money. You have to scale it. You need $10 from several million people to scale it, and we're not doing that effectively. And in the case of the diaspora people, that we're spread out all across the country. We don't have one sector of the economy that we control. Now, I will just say this: what is different in the '60s? The leverage that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X had was Black Americans were the primary farm labor and domestic labor. So if he said, "Listen, we're not going to go to work," then it was leverage against the country about the economy. Without our brothers in Africa saying, listen, you can forget about that coltan price or that lithium price until you do right by my brother that's in Detroit or in the country, you know, Black Americans in general, then we have no leverage. You don't have leverage and we don't have leverage. The one thing that Black Americans can offer to the continent is the access to credit and capital. That's something that you don't have there. You do have the resources, but you don't have the capital to scale it. We don't have the resources where we have the capital, at least to borrow it, if not have it on hand.
Yeah, that is true because, but the problem is this: you see when we talk about we really actually come together. Yeah, we need to really come together. But the you see the you point the states have more knowledgeable how to use the media in doing things. You understand? We Africans are not used. We're not used to using media as kind of propaganda to affect the other side. In America, media propaganda is very, very high. It was in the 90s when I was growing up, when I was in my university days. You understand? Sometimes I would watch CNN early, I'm talking about early 90s now. Then I would think, am I really in Nigeria? What is going on? You know, or Voice of America or BBC, the way they will really abroad Africa, like, you know, different type of all kind of Africa is full of disease. Africa is this. Africa is that. Africa is that. You know, so the Western people use media to destroy us a lot. You know, to really destroy us a lot. So when we start seeing these new guys that have the same skin color like you, now they're just the newcomers now visiting Africa. They want to use the setup of media and YouTube. You know, like someone say, "Oh, we helping Africa," or "I'm giving money to Africa." Like, hello, you know, and they started continue repeating this. Like, which Africa, you know, or someone showed their camera and said, "Oh, their road is not done." You have to understand, you know, Africa is not like America. And it was not going to be like America. We don't have unified system of maybe the setup of building or things. So things, yeah, a little bit chaotic, but they will come, you know, later at the right time. So we're building things one at a time. Then you expect, okay, if you come here to start using this media, just like what you call and the worst thing that they say, oh, they're B1 or B2, whatever they want to call themselves, and you're not turning on your camera. You like Africa because you think, okay, you want to be around with people that look like you, but you're not flipping the camera and say how bad they are, you know. But you went to Thailand, you did say this is in Thailand. Now you in Africa, you start African women are beggars. You understand me? You know, you didn't say this thing in Brazil, you know. So it's still like they see the same people that have your type of skin color, still you see the same whip that you experience for the other skin color, that they still want to use the same whip. That's what we say no. You know, if we want to know each other, let's know each other. If we don't know each other, it's okay. It's not by force, you know. And knowing each other, we have to be far more respectful to each other. You know what I mean? That's what I said. Why we Africans are fighting back is just the continuous hitting, you know, complaining, continue doing things. I've never seen a white man would be actually some this white tourists will go to Africa and start, you know, coming out with video cameras and say, "Oh, African women they are beggars." You know, what descend of them at that time. They say, well, you know, people call the white person a racist at that time. You know, but they're not doing it.
Brother Kadola,
that
that is a powerful point that you just made. It's a very powerful point of turning the cameras back on each other. And what I'm going to say, Brother Kadola, is I have been pushing on this channel, you know, a merger of media, Black American, Black Hollywood media with Nollywood and African media, so that we can build actual production of our own content, and that we can have a joint message as opposed to this is the Kenyan message, this is the Ugandan message, this is the Nigerian message. To have more of multinational merger of media content. I mean, what Kaizo is doing is really important because a lot of Africans frequent this channel, and Black Americans can come on here and talk to brothers like you, and vice versa, that you can talk to us. But the real power behind it is, you know, Nigeria passed this law to say, listen, we're going to have indigenous Nigerians for our ad campaigns, no more foreign models. Now, if you did a joint venture with a advertising agency in, you know, which there are some black American advertising agencies to help do the content, then we're off and running, because you've got the credit and an American business with the market and Nigerian business and advertising agencies. Now we can make a multinational. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. That's why then you flipping the camera. Why don't you just come and cooperate? You know, a country like Africa or Ghana or any other country will be open up for this kind of business. You understand? But you know, Akon says something like Akon says something like, "Why should you be scared to come to Africa, but you're not scared to go to Europe?" So if you come to Africa, let's do what you said. You have a this advertisement business uh, something. You can easily come open businesses, stay in Africa. If you know somebody who come there, you know, look, Black America have a very big chance in West Africa. Let me say Nigeria or Ghana, because they'll easily blend in, come in, do whatever they want to do. You know, stay. Nobody's going to be disturbing you for anything. You know, as long as you have a little money just to survive for a short time before you start doing your business that will give you money. You understand? And so you don't have to start coming to media, flipping cameras. That YouTube is being watched by thousands of people, if not millions of people. But you continue blasting. You know, like, hello, let's do something together. You know, I'm open
I
for
agree.
business.
I agree with you, brother. And it's just unfortunate. Listen, I to the extent I don't know brother Austin, but you know, he's a very young man, and very young men sometimes make terrible mistakes. Unfortunately, like what you said, that it's being broadcast and really upsetting a lot of Africans. And you know, we got to talk each other down off of the ledge to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not everybody now.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, okay, if you start saying this, we also have things to say. Also, you know what I mean? You know, you went to Brazil, you did see all these things. You went to Thailand, you did see all these things. Now you came to East and West Africa continent, you start saying all these things. You know, he's not the only one that went to Africa. There are other guys that went to Africa. There's a guy called Chex Effect that went to Nigeria or Ghana. I think the guy's in Ghana now, or maybe he went to Ghana. He was being, you know, treated well. Nobody scammed him. He was being, you know, some boys, you know, gave a happy hand. They show him the worst neighborhood in Lagos. They also show him the rich neighborhood in Lagos. They were guiding him. You understand? They protect him. So when you say some people are scamming you, or all this scamming, all this, like what I'm seeing now in Tanzania, Black Americans are saying, oh, they're scamming us. They're doing this. They're doing that. Sorry, man. You came. You know, you brought yourself in there. Why don't you, you know, dialogue with the locals?
Well,
And
that's exactly it. And I saw the Czech effect guy, and he's doing a wonderful job. I would throw out to you this guy he's Nigerian American who does Passport Heavy. He did some beautiful videos about his trips to various African countries, but I'm just thinking he went to Nigeria and Ghana at Christmas time, and
yeah, because
it's
if you
gorgeous.
come to Nigeria, you have we have I don't know. I'm in Nigeria. I live in Nigeria anyway, you know, and in Nigeria we have system of, man, wherever the bread come from, that's what I'm going to eat from. You know, mean to say, whoever come with business, that's what I'm going to deal with. You know, it's just about business. You know, we have to manage to respect ourselves. When I know you, I know your culture. I respect you on that level. You know, I will have my boundaries so not to hurt your feelings. You know, that's why you never see a Nigeria coming to media start saying, oh, Igbo is not good, or Hausa is not good, or no, we don't do that because you create a very big problem. So we just respect your side, we respect whatever that's your boundary. Okay, then you can live peacefully with each other. You understand? Then we can share it, intermarried, inter whatever. We can be in-laws, we can be anything. Let's share business. No, let's live and let's live. So these are the things I was expecting to hear from these people that are coming to Africa. That means they come in, they're sharing business, they try to do business, or even knowing people to people. This might not be this. You have to understand, if if I if I'm coming to the United States, I would not expect things to be the same like where I'm coming from. No, because in the United States, if I'm more advanced, I will see it like that. If not, I'll say, okay, this is how it is.
Well,
Okay, this is
well,
their food.
brother, you raised some more excellent. You dropped a lot of wisdom there. What I'm going to say is there are a lot of people doing good stuff. There's this young lady who's in Southern Africa, Ashley in Africa. There's O'Shea Duke Jackson who's in Uganda. There's another guy. I want to say his name is Jay Cameron, and he just moved to Ghana. He's a Black American. They mentioned the Mark Meets Africa young man. There are brothers doing good
I
stuff.
like I like this guy a lot. Dynast.
Dinus Demir,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
in
that guy.
Zanzibar right now.
That,
Yeah,
that I think that guy's my favorite guy as far because I've watched so much long time years back. I watched some of his videos. Dennis Amir is my, it's my yeah. I like that guy a lot. I like that guy a lot. Check,
wonderful,
you
wonderful.
see how
Wodi
he went
Maya.
to Nigeria. He blend in. He did complain. He associate himself. Nigeria. A tribe in Nigeria welcome him a lot, adapting. And I swear to God, it's a it's a wonderful brother. It's a Nigerian. You know,
Brother,
because
it will happen.
yeah,
I,
it's a Nigerian. He find himself also to Sarah Lou. We respect that. Our Africa is open for him. Dwell as you want to dwell. Africa, look, if you know you're an African actually, and you want to have a piece of piece of cake of Africa, Africa, as long your ancestors has been taken away from Africa, come to Africa and have your own space. If it's a land, you have to be very careful. Buy your own piece of land, build your own house, stay there. If you want to be going in like out, like what Africans are doing, then you have exit point. You can stay in America for maybe a year, visit the other year, or you want to stay in Africa for your 6 months, go back, do your job. Then you can pass whatever you want to pass to your next generation that will say, okay, this for me, this for you, a part of Africa. I finally got my land back, and this is what I'm giving you back. Africa will not change because you came from United States. You have to come in and fit into the system. And that fit into the system, you have to learn the way they operate. Just like if I come to United States, when Africans are in the United States, they study how it goes over there. You understand? So that's why I said they have a very heavy, heavily advantageous. You look, you can come to Africa today, within a year, you can even become a citizen. Because you can infuse into African family. You can infuse into African family. You can come in there, you can stay in there, you can do whatever you want to. Nobody's chasing you. Nobody's saying, oh, what are you doing here now? Oh, Mr. Man, oh, we want to deport you back. No, you didn't kill nobody, you didn't offend nobody, you didn't have no, just infuse yourself into a family that will have your own interests. You have to have your own interests. Chase whatever if it's house, you want piece of land for yourself, you have piece of land for yourself. If you want, anything, that's what I'm saying. Come in. That was I mentioned Dennis. Dennis is a very powerful guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I was naming out some names of people. I forgot about somebody said in the chat. This guy Afro Think Tank.
Yeah, Afro think tank.
Wonderful
And
guy.
and
Wonderful
and,
fellow.
and, I might not know the religions of these Hebrew Israelites, but these Hebrew Israelites guys are far more mentally prepared. I don't know it's because of their religion or whatever they believe on. This set of Black Americans, you can see the wonders they're doing in Ghana. They are building their big houses. they you hardly see an Hebrew Israelite actually complain anyway. Let me just I will give it to these guys. These guys are far more like really they are far more, they are like you can call them like the black Amish. They can be they are like farmers. They have all kind of plants in their head. They are like indigenous Africans. They're people that didn't leave Africa yet. So there's a type of black Americans you say, okay, this can live in Africa. This might be, this might have problem living there. But these Hebrew ones, and okay, I can't. Danis is an African series. It's a West Africa series anyway. So I just give him to him. That just that just him. He have a home in he's a member of a royal family somewhere in the western part of Nigeria. You understand? So really, I'm not against Ahmed at all. I respect him. I like what he's doing, but it's far more really, really guys say, yes, this guy is great. It's everywhere. Does never really complain. Oh, I can't get this. I can't. No, he blend in, eat the food, talk to people, do whatever he want to do. It's out. It's always in. It's always in. Dallas is always neither in Nigeria or in Sierra Leone. It's always in. It's always everywhere in Africa. I hope one day he will finally have his own residence there. When I mean his own house, his own private house. I think he's from a royal family in the West. I think he might have some piece of land. Okay, look at Afrotitak. Afrotitak just built have his own compound there. Afrotitak, powerful guy.
It's beautiful, brother. I am just saying, give our people a chance. We will give you a chance. And let's
I think we will give each other a chance to have a nice time, to know more about ourselves. You understand me? There's nothing like when I'm just talking, not that reacting to Austin, that dude. So I'm not like
I get your frustration, and I can hear it
I'm
in
not
your
generalizing everybody.
comment.
That's what I said.
And it was listen. My concern is when brothers come on and they talk to our brothers over there like yourself and really upset them. They don't realize, or maybe they do. I don't know the kind of damage and hurt that they leave, because then it turns that person off to the next person. And that's what I was trying to redeem with you, is to say, listen, brother, there are some good Black American people here that know how to behave and to build together with you, just the same as they're good Nigerians that come to the United States and know how to build with us. But we have to look to those people, not to people
if this guy, there's a Black American who's living in Nigeria. I think I know him, because he came as an FM DJ. He came to arrange. I think they brought him in to help one FM radio station at that time, early 90s, when FM become more popular in Nigeria. He came, I think he set up the FM station. Everything was booming. At that Nigeria was playing a lot of American music, a lot. Black Americans precise music a lot. At that time. He got married to an Igbo lady. The guy was a multi-millionaire in dollars. I'm not talking about Nigeria, in dollars. Lived big in the island. There was one mansion there, living large. I think coronavirus killed the guy. I don't know where he contacted, if he's in America on a visa, I don't know. He was living large. He's living large. You have children with that Igbo lady, staying. I think he's a Nigerian citizen also. So you see, it's not today that Black Americans and Africans have been joining him together. They brought him in there. Oh, man, help us fix this thing. The guy did it. Then he opened his own business there, doing his own thing, becoming even powerful, rich. There are a lot of Black Americans in Nigeria, only that you don't know them, because most of them are Nigerians now. Guys that came inside 70s, 80s, even early 90s and middle 90s, who are doing well for themselves. Some of them in Jos, Lagos, maybe recently in Abuja, but they're spread everywhere. I just want us to cooperate together, do things together. If you have technology, bring it in. If you have anything, we open for business. We see you like one of us. We don't discriminate. you know. But by the time you started want to flip the camera, so why are you doing this? This is not fair. You know, like we start turning cameras every day. You start seeing Nigerians in media going to everywhere. So I say, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. You know, you will not like it. You know, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, come in, do something. You have far more advantage in Africa, in West Africa, where you're coming from. You know, to do a lot of things. Some of them, that I mentioned, the Hebrew Israel guys are building a whole community in Gambia, in Ghana. They're doing a lot of wonderful things there. You know, some of them are living there for almost 20 years now. What?
And I wanted to throw this to you, Brother Kadola. Here's another area where we can work together. That in the music industry, you have all of these artists that are blowing up with the Afrobeat and Amapiano and countless other African musics that are now getting global play. If you take some of these, you have all these, particularly like in New York, a lot of these original hip hop artists that the masters to their music was controlled by the record companies. They can go to Ghana and Lagos and you know into Nigeria and re-record a Afrobeat version of their hit with the hook and so on, and we both can own that, as opposed to somebody else owns it right now.
Yeah.
But
Okay. That's yeah. Shout out to Puff Daddy and Drake, Dr. Dre. You know, I'm not generalizing everybody. Part of the still was throwing also. Shout out to that was said. I'm not generalizing it. You know, why I mentioned Dr. Dre, Puff Daddy, Drake, and some of these other artists, the Rihanna, and you know, is you know, man. Let us be honest. The communication between some of these musical stars and these Nigerians, Afro beat superstars, the communication is excellent. They're doing things together. They're sharing money together. You know, Puffy handled Burna Boy for a short time.
yeah,
Whiskey.
I want to throw another. We just saw this incredible situation with Mike Tyson working with Francis Ngannou. Is that how you
Yeah.
pronounce it?
Oh, yeah. You see, that's one thing. How to work together. You understand me? Because look, let me tell you one thing. Africans don't hate Black Americans. We admire their courage a lot. We admire their strength. You know, when you hear about their story, we admire their strength a lot. You know, we can be somehow be out of place, angry, try to hit back. It's just because we shared similar type of DNA. Let's just be honest. Why we're fighting each other is because we share the same type of DNA. Most Black Americans are Nigerians. Let's just be honest about that. You know, that's why maybe we fight each other, we argue, we kind of have some time misunderstanding. But Africans, Francis, going to you see how things work out. You understand? The love. You know, my daddy used my father's best friend used to be Edu Moses. I don't know if you know a guy called Edu Moses. Triple, the guy was doing 400 meters, um, 400 meters hurdles. You know, Edu Moses. He starts 78 when he broke the world record. You know, my dad is schooled in United States. He's schooled in Florida. You know, he went to Black University called AM University, AM Missionary Agriculture Missionary University in Tally. You know, we have a lot of pictures of Edu Moses in our house, in my father's album. You know, so Kevin Smith, American 105, American 100 meters runner at that time, world record that it's a 98 80 at that time, before Carl Lewis came into the picture. You know, so we admire a lot. My first experience in a Black American was a good time JJ. You know, so we have a lot to share together. We have a lot to, you know, to have good time, enjoy ourselves. Whatever happened, take it, learn from it, adjust, move on, and do things together. Let me give somebody else the floor that just came in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to drop off, so I'll listen in the comments. Good to meet you, Brother Kazola. Thanks for having me up, Dr. Kaizo, today. And I'll listen to the commentary. Olga, Sirius, welcome. I'm going to have to drop off. Thank you, brother. I just want to say, Brother Kazola, don't lose hope, brother.
Oga, fire on, man.
Hello. Am I clear? Yes, am I
I
clear?
hear you. I hear you.
Well, I didn't want to talk right now, but I guess I'll say a few things though. Yeah, I mean, I've saw the title of this video. I'm just looking in now, and my honest opinion is that we really need, as Black people, we really need to put our priorities straight and in order, and by doing that, it will benefit all of us. I mean, we have this Austin guy now. This is not the first time I'm hearing about him. And every time I hear about this guy, it's always something negative, something bad that he's doing. That he's negative press, negative media. Essentially what the guy is doing is just women tourism. Just going about experiencing different women and giving just bad reports of countries. And I don't think that's something we should even be doing self. I mean, it's really messing up our reputation. It's a way we can do something that we have prestige and honor with it, and it's another way we can do things that we lose everything and we lose everything altogether. If Austin was married and he was traveling the world and just giving just a normal review that anybody can watch, that guy will have more supporters, more people loving him, and he will even have way more money than whatever money he's making now. But I don't know. We're not really focused on the things that will make us really boost our rank in the world. I mean, there's so many people that have travel channels now. Some of them, they just go for food. Some of them just experience.
Welcome to the Kaizoran experience. Over here, we're going to be talking about everything African. We're going to be having debates, discussions, entertainment, as well as learning about business, art, history, and everything in between. Cultural, tribalism, and everything. We're going to be out here debating with some really interesting stuff. So like the video, share the video, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe for the best experience ever. This is the biggest channel on the Afrosphere. So come and join the team, become a Kaizoran, and join the Kaizoran Empire.
Universally exist within myself, within this premise, and I exist within this bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like the blue in the sky. I'ma fly like bird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma throw my bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fight like bluebird in the sky. I'ma eat like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Back again like the second coming. Strumming my vocal cords like the hummingbird in the sky. Y'all can't deny this. Real rap lyrics, it's like I ain't got no rhyming through the sky limit. What is skin tone, shade of color, but a parallel form of frequency like a ringtone on your phone. Melanin expression, tied up in the universe, feeling like God's. Is this really yours?